Welcome to another episode of No Butts About It. My name is Josh Butts. We have Jonathan, the rookie Alvarado, here with us, and Chus, who, as always, is in his parents' basement in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay, you made it sound like it was like the worst thing in the world. I am still a college student. I'm not moving out of my house until I finish college. You're in your parents' dining room in Indiana, so I don't want to hear it.
So, we're following up after the Lions versus Chiefs season opener last night, also known as Jonathan, the rookie Alvarado's first ever regular season game that he has watched as a Detroit Lions fan or a fan of football in general. So we will get his reaction here in a minute. First, I just wanted to say, yes, Joe Burrow was signed. Last night was really weird. Right as Thursday Night Football kicked off, Joe Burrow got signed and Zach Bryan got arrested. Twitter was blowing up. It was quite the time to be alive last night. Yeah. I don't know if you saw. I assume you saw that, Chus.
Which
Jonathan?
One? Yeah,
that Zach Bryan got arrested.
Oh yeah, didn't I send it to you? I sent it to you after
because
because I know you said it in the group chat that we all have, but I didn't. I didn't look at the chat too much because it was just blowing up with messages, and so I just went on Instagram. I was like, "Yo, Zach Bryan got arrested." I was like, "What?" I was like, and me and my friends had just been talking about him because of how fast he sold out in Pittsburgh on Wednesday, and I guess today because I didn't even try to get tickets. But we were like, "Oh, we were just talking about this guy," and then he got arrested. But yeah, like right at the peak of like 8:00, 8:15, like all of this stuff happened right before TNF kicked off. I was like, Joe Burrow got signed, and then Zach Bryan got arrested, and
what a time to be alive in America.
What a time to be alive, honestly. I mean, there's so much excitement happening in the world.
Jonathan, let's get your reactions first to what you saw last night. What did you like? What did you hate?
Obstruction of investigation. That is all I know.
For Zach Bryan?
Oh, that's Zach Bryan.
Yeah, that's Zach Bryan.
For clarification, that is Zach Bryan. There is no obstruction in the investigation for the Lions-Chiefs game, as far as we know. There were some very bad calls not called, but we'll get into that. The
Lions did obstruct the Chiefs from winning last night. Tell us about it.
Yes. Yeah, so first and foremost, as a first ever football game as a Lions fan, what a time to be alive. What a great moment to witness a phenomenal game, I would say. I wasn't confident that we were going to win, but lo and behold, we beat Mahomes, not only just anywhere, but at Arrowhead. So, there was a few calls. Granted, I don't know everything, but a few players I want to give a shout out to, pretty much starting off with David Montgomery. Essentially, all we would do with him is hand him the ball, and he would keep running, even if it was just a few yards. It's those little yards that would make the big difference. Another guy, of course, that I think part of it was that he's just off to a good start, but also that he was at the right place at the right time. Brian Branch, I mean, what a time to be a rookie. What a great intro to his NFL career. Not only just getting that interception, but from what I recall as well, just getting a first touchdown as a defensive player. And, so many people kept making fun of Jared Goff, but a little stat I noticed as I was watching the post-game interview, he is approaching the all-time record for consecutive passes without an interception. Now, of course, I'm still the rookie, and I know a lot of hardcore NFL fans are going to start telling me that the Chiefs just didn't have Kelsey or a handful of their other players. And to an extent, that might be right. Maybe we would have gotten destroyed had he been on there. But also, that's just part of football. Players get injured. Players get suspended. And that's just part of the game. So you got to take with what you have.
So, yeah. First, let's talk about Brian Branch, because I thought he was a guy who really stepped up last night. And he didn't have a lot of huge plays, but the play that he did have that was huge was big. Mm-hmm. And it was a pick six off of the hands of Kadarius Toney, thrown by Patrick Mahomes. It's going to go down as an interception for Patrick Mahomes, but Kadarius Toney could not catch a ball last night to save his life. And Brian Branch still had 3 solo tackles last night. He was targeted 4 times, and he only allowed 2 receptions. So pretty decent numbers to start off against one of the best offenses in the NFL last year. That, especially considering the Lions' defense sucked last year. Like, they were terrible. Then they started kind of figuring stuff out near the end of the year. Aiden Hutchinson, his parents were up in the stands, mic'd up for some reason.
I was wondering the same thing. I was with a couple of friends at the bar, and we were like, out of all people to like get a hot mic on, why would you have like the parents of Hutchinson mic'd up in the stands? Just so random, because like they'd be like, let's pan to Aiden Hutchinson's parents, and then it would just be like, woo. It's like, okay, like
cool. It'd be woo, and then his mom being like, what happened? And the dad explaining what happened because she was like texting someone. Aiden Hutchinson looked like, I don't think like stat wise you're gonna look at that and be like, okay, he had a good game, but he also had like 3 guys covering him all night. Aiden Hutchinson looked fantastic. Brian Branch looked great for a rookie. I think this Lions defense could be fun to watch. Definitely a great time to be a Detroit fan. I think they should celebrate this. Of course, some people are saying that this is just a fluke. The Chiefs aren't going to have a problem, and they're blaming Travis Kelce being injured. We're blaming Chris Jones sitting out. But the Chris Jones situation is, okay, you pay him and he's back. He said he's willing to be out till week 8. When he wouldn't get caught. So if he goes past week 8, he won't get paid on this year of his contract. He won't get credit for it. But so Chris Jones, are you not going to pay him now after losing? Are you telling me that Patrick Mahomes is not this god that can make any receiver look good because he didn't win last night? Does he need Travis Kelce? Is that what Chiefs fans are saying? What do you think, either one of you?
I mean, for me, like just looking at the game yesterday, there was a lot of things and a lot of just notes in my head that I wrote down. But more or less, when it came to the Chiefs, it did make me question if the opinion of Patrick Mahomes making every wide receiver look good was actually even valid. Because, you know, for example, with Kadarius Toney and a lot of the other wide receivers, the ball would be like right in their hands, and it would just be drop passes. It looked like a mess on wheels in Kansas City last night. It was not looking too hot. And yes, and I get Travis Kelce's a big part of their offense, but one of those things is, okay, yeah, you have one huge, really good tight end on your team, but are you saying, like, are the Chiefs fans saying that the only way that they can win is with Travis Kelce? Because, you know, Travis Kelce it tends to get hurt. You know, he's getting older. Mm-hmm. I mean, it becomes a point where it's like you got to start winning with or without Travis Kelce. And yesterday showed me that if they struggle this much, like I get it, like Jones and everything like that, but if they're struggling this much without Kelce when it comes to like throwing, it does make you wonder because, you know, I mean, it would be an uphill battle for the Kansas City Chiefs going forward if they're really relying that heavily on Travis Kelce. Now, I will say maybe the whole team will shift whenever Jones and Travis Kelce, you know, come back to the field. But I mean, it's a wait to be seen. Like, yes, the Lions did win by 1, but I still think the Lions played really good. I mean, what can you say?
This is the first time Kelce has missed a game due to injury since his rookie year. But I think you bring up a good point. He's getting older. So
I thought he missed a lot more games. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
Kelce hasn't missed a game since his rookie year due to injury, but this could be the beginning of something because he is getting older, and tight end is a very bone bruiser position. Mm-hmm. Another thing that was happening last night that kind of united the internet against the Kansas City Chiefs, and I don't know if you noticed this, Alvarado. Jawan Taylor, the Chiefs' right tackle, never once lined up where he was supposed to be. He was never once on the line. He was like 3 feet back off the line every play so that he was getting an advantage on whoever was coming at him, whether it be Aiden Hutchinson or somebody else. And Chris Collinsworth said, "Oh, well, that's the Detroit Lions coaching staff's fault because they aren't telling the refs that it's happening." And Terry McCauley, the NBC rules analyst, said, "Yeah, he's not lining up legally, and they haven't called it. They finally called it once at the end of the game, but it was like everyone on Twitter noticed it. Ninja, the Twitch streamer, noticed it. He was tweeting about it. Like anyone who has a Twitter account, it looked like was tweeting about it. Kurt Benkirk, the former like backup for the Chiefs or the Packers, was tweeting it. TJ Hawkinson, who used to play for the Lions, was tweeting about it. Everyone was tweeting about this. And I don't know if you noticed it, but what did you think about the fact that they were so blatantly breaking the rule and it wasn't being called, and it was gave the Lions an extreme disadvantage? How do you feel that you still won that game?
You know, at the end of the day, it doesn't bother me in a sense that we ended up winning the game anyway, and it shows what this team is capable of. However, I think if it went the other way around, then it's not only a problem for this game, but a problem for the NFL with regards to refs not noticing, as there were some controversial calls last year that refs tend to ruin the game. So I think I don't know what can be done about it, but also I think we need to start, whether it's journalists or the ref association, just anything along those lines. If refs are getting paid a lot of money, they should also kind of start catching up on these things. But with regards to what was said earlier about the Chiefs, I don't think it's time to hit the panic button just yet, as who knows, maybe when Jones and Kelsey come back. But I think when I was looking at the game, I don't think it was Patrick Mahomes' fault, as in he did everything he needed to do. He got the ball to places, but again, players just weren't catching the ball. So I think maybe it just was a bad game, and they'll be right back. However, if this doesn't get figured out soon, and then the Chiefs start going 0-2, now I think it's time to start getting worried, because the Lions are on the rise. But if they're going against the Bengals or the Bills, it's going to be a disaster for the Chiefs, and they're the defending Super Bowl champions. So I think they have, a message to send out to the public. That being said, I think outside of the field, they need to consider, because Kelsey is 33 years old, and therefore I think it's in the Chiefs' best interest to see who's going to step up for that. We said Mahomes is probably one of the best, if not the best, quarterback in the NFL right now, and he can perform his magic. But if we're also relying on the second and third best player in Kelsey and Jones, and he's not able to do it all, then it'll be an interesting season for the Chiefs, I believe. So we'll have to see what happens. But just to kind of close off, I think the Lions should celebrate, as if they can beat Mahomes in Arrowhead, I think they have the potential to beat anybody around. But also, it is also just the first game, so let's enjoy it, but also prepare. I think it's an exciting season for both teams with both perspectives, you could say.
That was a very well thought out and said and researched take. You did some research. I liked that. I thought that was good. Chus, what did you think of that?
No, I liked it. Yeah, and I think it's good because, from a perspective of myself, I can't say that I do a lot of in-depth research. I just kind of go off of my base knowledge and then just type up answers to questions as I go along. So, Mr. Rookie, we appreciate you actually going through and giving some really good in-depth analysis going into this. So, but yeah, I mean, he brings up solid points. I mean, there's a lot to be said. I agree. I don't think there is really any need to place that panic button in Kansas City just yet. And going back to the Travis Kelce thing with the injury, I think I was confusing him with George Kittle because those two are always like so high up on the list.
Okay.
And George Kittle gets hurt like a little bit more than Travis Kelce. So I think that's where I got that confused, which I apologize to the viewers listening. I'm not that much of an idiot, but I definitely am not as smart as the rookie Alvarado himself. I can say that he's coming along really well for a week one analysis. That he's given some really good analysis.
what did we think of Jahmyr Gibbs? I mean, we were told last week before this game by the Lions offensive coordinator, we're going to use Jahmyr Gibbs in a way that not a lot of people are expecting. And then it proceeded to look like the way not a lot of people were expecting was to have him on the bench most of the game while they let David Montgomery do everything. And as a fantasy owner, I had Jahmyr Gibbs starting this week, and I wanted to see more from him. He was their first round pick. He was a running back that they took in the first round. I wanted the Bengals to take him in the second round. He was supposed to possibly fall to the Bengals in the second round, and they took him in the first round, so the Bengals couldn't have him, and then they didn't even use him.
All I know is that I was very disappointed in Gibbs, but in my opinion, I have no fantasy love for him one way or another because I don't have him in fantasy. I actually have David Montgomery in fantasy, so I was pretty cool with him having a touchdown. So, I mean, go figure. I mean, David Montgomery, go figure. I mean, he had a really good season. He's had good seasons in Chicago. I mean, with or without, struggling with injuries and whatnot. So, for him to be the plug, I get it. Just, trucking through, yesterday and whatnot. But I don't know. I mean, I once again, I think it's week one. I mean, he's a rookie. They probably weren't going to utilize him that much, but throughout the season, I think they're going to utilize Gibbs a little bit more. Plus, David Montgomery, I wouldn't be surprised if he has the workload that he did against Kansas City. I feel like at some point he might tweak something, and then Gibbs is going to have to step in for a while. So,
so irritated. Do you have anything about that, Alvarado?
I think it's going to take time. I can definitely see the next game he still might get benched just because of the work David Montgomery did in this first game. However, as I said earlier, injuries happen, suspensions happen, and it's a long season. So I think his time will come, but unfortunately the first day, it just wasn't his day.
We're going to have to go to the drawing board in fantasy because he's my RB1 on one of my fantasy teams. So,
Ooh, which one?
Yeah.
Is it? It's not the one. It's not the 15 one, is it?
I think it is. I got him and DeAndre Swift, so we're struggling over here in that league.
Yeah,
but
I already had 3 players play yesterday. I had St. Brown, Montgomery, and Mahomes play yesterday.
St. Brown had a good game.
St.
Brown was fun.
Yeah, he had the first touchdown. So
yeah, I do want to wrap up this segment with just one final get your guys' thoughts on this. I didn't like this comment personally, but I don't know if you caught it at the end of the broadcast. Before the players even got off the field, Aiden Hutchinson was still hugging players on the Chiefs, and they were saying good game. Mike Tirico said, yes, the Lions won this game. Congratulations. But this game has an asterisk on it because Chris Jones and Travis Kelce aren't playing. Do you think this game has an asterisk on it, that it doesn't really count? Because when the Bengals went and played the Chiefs in the last AFC Championship game, they didn't have 60% of their O-line. Tyler Boyd was injured, and Mike Hilton and Chidobe Awuzie were both injured, I believe. But when Bengals fans pointed that out, it was, you're making excuses against the Chiefs. Why does this game get an asterisk when you only have Travis Kelce and Chris Jones out? And Chris Jones is only out because the Chiefs won't pay him.
In my opinion, there is no asterisk. There is no asterisk because it's, once again, as the rookie himself said, injuries happen, suspensions happen. It's what do you expect in the NFL? What am I gonna say? Because the Steelers had an up and down year when Le'Veon Bell sat out the whole year. All of those games have asterisks around them back then. No, it happens. I mean, you just gotta play better. If you're not gonna have Kelce and you're not gonna have Jones, just play better. Develop these players. Change your scheme around. Do different things. There's no asterisk. They're just making excuses because 2 other players aren't playing. And like you said, I mean, I think it's a fair argument that, in that AFC Championship game, you guys did have 60% of your players hurt, or however many percent you said were hurt. But there was a lot of players hurt in that game, and you guys still did the best you could. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, no cigar. But hey, there's always time. But nonetheless, No, I don't think there's any asterisk. I think that's some BS. I think that's just a typical statement after a loss. I mean,
What do you think, Alvarado? Is there an asterisk on the game?
Yeah, honestly, I'd say no. I still stand by my point at the start of the episode. It's just part of the game. But I also think it's a wake up call to other players around him. If you're Kelsey right now obviously they're saying it's going to be a small injury. He should be back by next week or the week after, but you also don't want to rush him too much. But if you're Kelsey on the stands right now and you're seeing so many players just not catch balls, and Mahomes can only take this team so far, he's going to want to play right away because he feels like it's his responsibility. But then if he gets injured and aggravates the injury even more, it's not just going to be a few games. It's going to be even longer in the season, and then you start getting into a bigger problem. So going back to the original question, I'd say no, but also it's just something to keep an eye out. Maybe not use it as an excuse, but the Chiefs can use it as motivation where their team stands in the future. And hopefully, again, it's only the first game, but I think once we start seeing them go against the Bills or the Bengals, then we'll probably have a better stance on where the Chiefs are at going into this season.
and wasn't there a year that the Chiefs or somebody, I don't remember, there was a team that everybody was like panicking about. It might have been the Patriots the one year, but I remember they started 0-2 and everybody was panicking. I think it might have been the Chiefs, but everybody was like, "Oh, they're 0-2 to start, not looking too good." And then they ended up making it to the freaking playoffs and going through. I don't know if I want to say it might have been the Patriots, but somewhere in my heart it also could have been the Chiefs. But it
That
was
was
one
the
of those.
Bengals last year. Bengals started 0-2 because we somehow lost
Yeah,
to Mitch and the Steelers.
but I never really. For me, last year, you guys starting 0-2 was never like a oh shoot moment. I don't know. I just remember on like the NFL news or something, like people were just covering it like way back, and like this was like pre 2020, so this was like maybe 18, 17. It was a while ago, but like I remember people would be like, "Oh yeah, they're 0-2, like they might not be the same team this year," and then they ended up going to the playoffs. So I mean, like it literally. I mean, it's early on in the season, so I mean, it's definitely something to kind of keep an eye on, but still only lose by one. I mean, they're kind of doing the right things, but I think they need some wide receivers that actually don't have butterfingers or that shouldn't be targeting the butterfingers. Or Kadarius Toney needs to like dip his hand in like a lot of sand and just like keep twisting the sand because that actually sometimes helps with grip training. And if he can't catch a ball that Patrick Mahomes throws to him like dead eye accurate, then you get that buddy on the sand. Get that buddy in the sand. That's all I'm saying.
I agree. Let's move on to the Joe Burrow contract reaction. The details still have not came out. I posted a video last night about it. What I thought with keeping T. Higgins. Am I freaking out about T. Higgins still being able to stay? The answer is no, I'm not freaking out. I still think we can get a contract done with T. Higgins. Like I was telling these guys before the show, I think Browns fans are more worried about, and there is a Browns fan who I know who listens to the show who has been texting me, and so I'm sure he'll comment below this when he listens, but I think Browns fans are more worried about T. Higgins staying than Bengals fans are, because everything I've seen on Twitter, on X, has been from Browns fans saying, "Oh, T. Higgins can't stay now. It's not possible. You can't do it," because Joe Burrow is now the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. He's going to make about $55 million on average per year, but that doesn't start until this contract is up, which his current rookie contract is 2-year, $41 million. So still a good amount of change. I want to see how this contract, the details are fixed, because he's not getting paid $55 million each year. It could all be early. It could all be late. How are we doing this? Are we backloading it and then we're going to sign Chase and T to contracts that are front loaded, get them paid off, and then we're only paying them $5 million when Joe Burrow's contract kicks in? You look at Justin Herbert's contract, his big cap hits don't happen until 2027 and 2028. So I made another video talking about this, but I'll throw that out right now just so you guys have some idea of what my stance is on it, and what do you guys think?
For me, I think that when it comes to the Bengals and signing Joe Burrow, I do think it is interesting that he is the highest paid quarterback. Can with that 5 year when Patrick Mahomes signed that 10-year 500 mil, I believe that's what it was. Whenever he signed was 10 years or 8 years for 500 million or something like that. So definitely makes you hopeful that Joe Burrow stays consistent and stuff like that, because obviously Joe Burrow's been surrounded by a lot of really good offensive talent. So I mean, I think he's a very talented quarterback, but you just hope that he can continue that consistency. But I don't think the contract's the worst thing in the world, but it does make you question if you can keep some of those players like T. I mean, there's no, like I said, I think it's possible that T Higgins stays on the team, but I don't think it is highly possible, if that makes sense. I think that it can happen, but I don't think I think the chances are a lot lower than it absolutely happening. So, I mean, that's why I think Browns fans and even myself, I don't think it's, oh, no way, but I don't think it's going to be a situation where it's going to be absolutely positive. I figured Joe Burrow was going to sign with the Bengals. There was no way that I could see Joe Burrow walking away from Cincinnati being oh yeah, I want to go sign somewhere else. And then he goes to I don't know. I was going to say Washington because that used to be my go-to. I need a new go-to. I don't know. I don't know. Houston, yes. Stroud stinks, so he's going to Houston. I don't think he would have went to. I don't think he would have went to Houston, in my honest opinion. So T, on the other hand, I think he has the qualities that he could be a wide receiver one, but because he's with Chase, I don't think he will get there unless Chase is hurt. So I mean, if he went somewhere else, he would probably do very well as well. But it just is a matter of if he can fit into the cap space with the money they just spent on Joe Burrow. So, but we'll see. We don't know what kind of loaded contract this is, or if it's just 55 million a year over the next 5 years. So,
yeah, I agree. What do you think, Alvarado?
Maybe the money is what I'm surprised about as being the most paid NFL quarterback. But I also think I don't really see, at least not anytime soon, see a Bengals team without Joe Burrow. I think he still wants to stay in the fact that he loves the team, but also he has a point to prove. I mean, he made it to the Super Bowl once. He was close to making it again. And he still has that Lombardi trophy to win. So I think it's motivation for him to stay. It's a good team, granted, depending on who the Bengals let go and sign within the next few seasons. But we'll see what happens. And yeah, no, ultimately, similar to what Chus said, I just also don't see why Cincinnati would let him go either. So that's all I have to say.
I agree. And it's such a big story, but there's not a lot to talk about right now surrounding the contract because we don't have those details. There's not a huge reaction to be made. I keep wanting to talk about it for a long time, but it's we know that he's getting paid $55 million a year on average, $219 guaranteed. It's a 5-year contract, but beyond that, we don't know anything.
No.
So that's all we can really say right now. So that's going to lead us into looking forward to this Sunday and the games that we've got coming up. What games are we excited for? Obviously, Alvarado, the rookie, his team has already played. The Lions defeated the Chiefs last night. So I don't know if there's any games you're looking forward to watching this week just as a fan of football. Obviously, me and Chus are both looking forward to our teams' matchups. Bengals are playing the Browns this week, and I think that'll be a fun game to watch just as a prove-it thing because Burrow has not done well in the past against the Bengals, and I think this year he's, especially coming off of this contract, he's going to be saying, okay, time to shut some people up.
Wait. Did you say Burrow hasn't done well against?
Burrow has not done well against the Browns at all.
I think he's only. It's a very weird stat line.
I
But
believe
yeah,
he's 1-3 against the Browns.
so I mean, who knows?
So that'll be interesting. You got Deshaun Watson out there who he has said that he is a different man this year, a different quarterback.
Yawn. Don't care. Deshaun Watson. Go ahead, Josh.
I want to see Dorian Thompson-Robinson at quarterback.
Yeah,
Now that would make it a game, my boy. Bring him up.
Yawning. I would be all over that.
I think that'd be fun. I want to see what these Bengals can do this year. I've just got a feeling in my soul right now that the Bengals are it's their year. Chris Collinsworth has finally said, like, this is the year the Bengals are going to win the Super Bowl. I'm feeling something special in my heart. It's Tyler Boyd's last season. We got to get him that Super Bowl ring. I'm excited going into Sunday because I think it is the beginning of something special. Steelers are playing the 49ers. I don't know where you stand on that. How confident are you feeling with that game?
Honestly, I think I'm a lot more confident than most people are giving Steelers credit for, because I feel like a lot of times when they think Steelers are going up against the 49ers, it's over, man. You should count that as a loss. There's a lot going into this game, considering this is the first Steelers home opener for the season, week 1, in the last 8 or 9 years. We had the longest stretch of time where we didn't have a week 1 home opening game. It would always be away over the last 8 or 9 years. So I think Steelers fans are super pumped and super excited to see this game. And I think over this past year, I've seen so much development and so much acquisitions made by Khan and all of the upper management for the Steelers and stuff like that. It was really fun to watch a lot of these players play in the preseason. And a lot of these guys are just backups, and a lot of times we would have our starters in and whatnot. But this team just looks so motivated, and they're just so excited to play, and it is going to be a lot of fun. And granted, I don't know if we're anywhere close to potentially a Super Bowl candidate, but I definitely think it's going to be a fun season where it's going to show a lot more growth over the last 2 or 3 compared to the last 2 or 3 years. I think this is a year where we're going to be a 10-7. I'm very confident in that. And we've had a lot of fair shares where they would throw us up against the Wolves week 1 and we would surprise. So I'm hoping for a surprise week 1, going on Sunday where, Steelers are home, they go up against San Francisco, and defensively we just shut down Brock Purdy, and we can just, get Kenny to cook a little bit. I mean, this is a big game for Kenny. He looked good in the preseason. I'm pretty confident that the Steelers will win. It's not going to be a blowout. I don't think it's going to be 31-14 final, but I definitely think it's going to be once again a 2017 final or a 24-20 final or something like that. It's going to be a fun game to watch, but it's going to make me stressed. And but I'm excited for it. But another honorary mention game that I saw on the schedule this week, Patriots are playing at the Eagles. And it just reminded me of the amazing Philly special that I was just talking about a couple days ago in the Super Bowl, where the announcer goes, I don't remember which announcer it was, but he's and it's Trey Burton who throws caught, Bulls, touchdown, Eagles. And I just love that. And they are playing on Sunday. They're playing at Philly. I think that is going to be a little fun to watch, I guess. I don't know if I'm actually going to watch it. I don't know what I'm going to do on Sunday, but that's another one I just kind of wanted to highlight. But yeah, I'm excited for the Steelers game, probably just as much as you are. But I don't know what our record is against the 49ers all time, but I like our chances on Sunday. I'm pretty confident going into the game.
So I have 2 questions for you, and I should have asked one of them earlier when I was talking about the Bengals game.
Yeah, shoot away.
So first question, when Brian Branch had that awesome pick 6 off of the hands of Kadarius Toney, you texted our group chat, hey, this should be a good sign for the Bengals this Sunday. And Stan, the Jet fan, had some questions. I can't do this because I'm an Android user, and I know that's evil. But he reacted with the little question. So what did you mean by that to help both Alvarado and the listeners understand that, and Stan the Jet fan, since he is not here right now but should be listening later?
Yeah, so Brian Branch, so it's kind of interesting because Brian Branch played safety for Alabama for a couple of years. I don't know exactly when I don't know what year he was when he got drafted. I don't know what grade he was. I don't know if he was a junior, if he was a senior. I'm not entirely sure on that. But he was a safety for the Alabama Crimson Tide over the last couple of years. And the one thing is Jordan Battle, who is the safety now for the Cincinnati Bengals, was also on the Alabama Crimson Tide and also played safety. Now they played in different, obviously they played in different like areas. I think obviously one played more strong safety, the other one played more free, and they kind of just like interlinked and did a bunch of different things. But what I meant by that was I was always super high on Jordan Battle since, the time I drafted him in Madden back in 2019, 2020, or however long ago that was. But Jordan Battle was always set to be that top safety. But then Brian Branch came along and ended up being that top safety for Alabama. He ended up getting drafted to the Lions, and Jordan Battle ended up falling a little bit, and he fell to the Bengals in the third round, correct? Yes,
Yep.
third round. So basically what I meant by that was after Brian Branch had that momentum shifting pick 6 in yesterday's game, I texted Josh and I said, hopefully that's a good sign, because maybe that'll mean that Jordan Battle will get a pick 6 against Deshaun Watson. And honestly, I couldn't be happier if he does, because I don't like the Browns. Like in a ranking system, I probably like the Bengals the most out of the AFC North, but in some players, because I still can't forgive you guys for Vontez Perfect, but I don't like the Browns. They're just like, but having Deshaun Watson get picked 6th by Jordan Battle, I think will just make my day. So, and that's why I was saying it was a good sign, because they both played at Alabama together as safeties.
So, second question.
Yes, sir.
Back to the Steelers.
Okay.
Nick Bosa just signed a contract making him the highest paid defensive player in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Are you concerned about Nick Bosa against the Steelers' offensive line? Do you think Kenny's life is gonna be hell on Sunday?
I think not, just because I think that the O-line has developed a lot over the last year. I think we made some moves when it came to the O-line, and I think there's a lot to be said with this O-line compared to like years past O-line. I'm pretty confident. I mean, granted, I'm sure there might be a sack or two that gets in there, but I don't think Kenny is going to look like stressed or struggling or anything like that. I think the picket fence will keep their composure, and I think that they're going to do pretty solid. I'm not too worried about it. It would be the same question as me being to a San Francisco 49ers fan. TJ Watt, he's coming back in. He's really good. Are you scared like that they can't contain him? I mean, it's the same perspective. I mean, they have a really good player in Nick Bosa. We have a really good player in TJ Watt. So I think it's just going to be a showdown for the ages tomorrow. But I do think that the offense has improved. I think the defense has improved. It's going to be a fun Steelers team to watch nonetheless. So no, I am not concerned with Nick Bosa's huge contract, because in the end, money is money. We'll see what he does statistically this season.
Money is money. That's what we hear. Alvarado, like I said, your games have already ended. We know the Lions have won this week. They're done. Who are you thinking you're going to be paying attention to this week?
Oh, man. I was more focused on the next upcoming match for the Seahawks that we're playing. I think that's another good test. But otherwise, I'll probably just start watching the Bengals and see how they do, because it'll determine whether you're a happy Bengals fan.
So you're going to be watching it to see if how I'm going to be Monday.
Yes.
They play at what? They play at 1:00, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm not going to be watching that game, but yeah. What game are you? So you're going to be watching the Bengals game then at 1:00?
Probably chill and watch the Bengals, and then see what the group chat it's blowing up.
Oh, yeah. The group chat will be blowing up on Sunday, because I'm going to be watching all the games, or as many games as I can be.
I'll just never. Oh my gosh, I'll just never forget last year. I'm sorry, I was just thinking about this. I remember Josh would you would Snapchat me I wouldn't check my Snapchat all day because I'd be at work, and you would Snapchat me 15 times, and I would open them. They would all just be your opinions of what was going on during every single game, not even just Bengals games. It would just be the Bengals would play at 8:20. You'd be like, what the heck is Mac Jones doing? Okay, that was a good throw by Mac. And then you would be like, also, what is this? Like, it would just be, I'm like, what are you doing? And then you would send like four videos on Snapchat. It was insane. And so I'm not surprised that I might have to turn my phone on Do Not Disturb on game day. And I'm just kidding. I'm just going to silence my phone.
Every Sunday, there's a mini podcast that comes out on Snapchat that is just whoever I have like streaks with that week or something. That's what they get. And it is... I'm aware that I do. I was doing it last night with Jawan Taylor. I was like, what the heck? This Jawan Taylor guy, he cannot line up at the right position. He's lined up at the slot receiver position. This dude is a moron. Why is this not being called? I was getting so heated, and I had like no skin in the game at all. But
I mean, you didn't Snapchat me that much yesterday. You only Snapchatted me like the once or twice. But I just remember the one day I came back from work and you had Snapchatted me like 16 times, and I was like, goodness gracious, because like I had watched this. Like, I don't know if the Steelers had played that day or if I had already watched it or what. But like I just like went through my day afterwards, and I was like, bro, like, geez. But that was also, I think that was like pre me joining the podcast too. So
it'll also be the most random and obscure players too that I'll find.
And I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? Like, I'm like,
the backup punter sucks.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, what? It like, and like most of the time, at the end, I'd just be like, yeah, that's crazy. Like, because I don't know how to respond to all 18 posts. Like, I'd be like, yeah, that's crazy. It's because I would get it so late. I mean, I'll try to my best to keep up with it tomorrow or Sunday, not tomorrow. But
I don't do it intentionally. It's just in my mind.
You get excited.
In my mind, it's been like 30 minutes since I last snapped you. So I'm like, okay, I can snap him again. But he hasn't checked his phone in 3 hours. So by the time he comes and checks his phone, he has 15 snaps about me giving.
Oh, great. I was going to, oh my goodness, hold on. I got to figure out. There's, oh no. Okay, September 24th. There is a preseason Penguins game that I'm pretty sure that I will be working. And my goodness gracious, I will never hear the end of it from you.
Who's playing September? Oh, Sunday. Okay, that's
a Sunday. Yeah, because I was thinking of like a September game in which like I'm not going to be checking my phone because I'm at work. I don't know if the Steelers play on the 24th.
They do. They play Sunday Night Football against the Raiders. Bengals do not play though. They play Monday Night Football in a Super Bowl rematch against the Rams.
Oh, fun. Yeah, I mean, but like, yeah, because I was going to say, like, I work 1 to 4 that day, or more than likely 1 to 4. So I was like, Josh is going to be watching like a 1 o'clock Bengals game and just going to be spamming the crap out of me between 1 and 4. And then I'm going to have to go home for the it's fine though. It's fine. It's all for fun. I mean, it makes sense that it's a 1 o'clock game. It's a preseason hockey game, but how the seasons are going to be crazy over this semester. I can tell you.
We got the NASCAR playoffs finishing up. They're in Kansas this Sunday, so I'm going to be watching that too.
You know what's cooking up? The Pirates. The Pirates are cooking up too. You know, they're only like 8 games out of a wild card right now.
Ooh, Andrew McCutcheon needs to hit some more home runs.
Well, he is hurt. So.
I don't follow baseball, clearly. So,
Connor Joe.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
Yeah,
one final game that I wanted to pay attention to, and this is just like probably not going to be a huge game in the grand scheme of things, but there's a fun little streak that is going to come to an end due to this game. It is the Jaguars at the Indianapolis Colts. And Chus's boy, Anthony Richardson, will be leading the Indianapolis Colts out onto the field.
Why my boy? I don't claim
he's your boy. He's your favorite player in the history of the NFL ever.
No, I don't claim Anthony Richardson.
But, so fun fact, the Jacksonville Jaguars have not beat the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis since 2017. On that same note, the Indianapolis Colts have not won the first game of the season since 2013. So one of those two streaks has to come to an end. And when I was double checking this and researching this, I found an article published by the Indianapolis Colts in 2012 bragging about how many times they have won their season opener. So they jinxed themselves for a decade at least.
And you know what? I think it would be even better if they tied, and I hope that they do. I hope that they tie and neither of them get broken because I don't. What would that count as? Like Jacksonville didn't win, and Indianapolis didn't win either. They tied.
Well, no, but the Colts didn't lose either.
Okay, so
they didn't lose their season opener.
Okay, well then I'm just gonna root for the Jags then in that game just because it's funny because the Colts are gonna just be on this long drought forever. Plus, I don't know. I think with a new quarterback scheme and stuff like that with Anthony Richardson, and I feel like the 3 quarterbacks that are starting this week with like Stroud, Bryce Young, AR, I don't know how well those 3 games are gonna go. I mean, looking at Houston is playing
the
Ravens. And we know that the Ravens have a supposedly pretty developed team, considering that they have Baltimore as like a really, really high ranked team at the end of the season, which I don't see it, but maybe I will have to wait and see. I don't think Stroud's gonna, look too comfortable just yet. I mean, give him some time. I think out of the 3, I think the best chance of like a really good showing would be Bryce Young with Carolina playing at Atlanta, but also once again that's a divisional game, so it's going to be tough. And you're going at Atlanta. I don't think any of these rookie quarterbacks are going to show anything like amazing on Sunday, but that's why I think it's probably going to be Jacksonville winning, and I feel like there's going to be a lot to be said. Now I don't think all the rookie quarterbacks this season are going to do bad, but remember it is week 1. It's their first regular season game. It's not preseason, and there's gonna be some nerves. I mean, it's just how it is. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe all 3 will win, and I'll be dumbfounded. But we'll touch base with that come next week.
Well, also, so the Panthers Falcons game, you also have Jesse Bates is with the Falcons now on defense.
Yes,
you have Bijan Robinson, who was a high draft prospect in the backfield for the Atlanta Falcons. And then Desmond Ritter's first season as the starter. He started a little bit at the end of last season, but this is his first time coming in as the starter. Another game that is going to be big is Arizona with Josh Dobbs starting. And the reason I say it's going to be big is we're going to see this is going to add to the tanking narrative. Like, are they actually tanking or are they going to try? And they are playing the Washington Commanders with Sam Howell leading the charge. So his first time as a starter, even though he's a second-year quarterback as well. And Ron Rivera has said, if I knew he could have done this, I would have had him starting years ago or last year. Like, what the heck?
Ago.
I don't know how Ron Rivera didn't know what Sam Howell could do, but okay.
He was projected to be high. Like I don't really know what he was thinking.
Let's see what Sam Howell can do. Let's see what Josh Dobbs can do as a starter. And Clayton Tune is a rookie who's behind Josh Dobbs. Maybe we'll see a little bit of Clayton Tune.
So, but Dobbs is not going to start once Kyler Murray gets back, though. I'm not expecting Dobbs to start.
Right. But I want to see what these guys.
Dobbs goes 4-0 or 5-0 or however many games until Kyler Murray comes back. Now I don't think that would happen, but it would be really funny if Dobbs did really good and then Kyler Murray came back and then they just lost the rest of their games.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Joe Camo. That probably would have hurt his feelings if he's listening.
Joe Camo of the Cardinal Rule. We love you.
We love you.
I also just real quick, and if Jonathan wants to add anything before we end here, I just want to thank everyone for going and watching the Ty Chandler video that we put out a month ago. I have no explanation for this, but in the last 2 weeks, it has had over 800 downloads by itself, amounting to 1.3 thousand total downloads. I don't know if that's fantasy people or if people in Minnesota all of a sudden got really interested in Ty Chandler, but that is our first ever video that we have put out by ourselves without a guest that has surpassed 1,000 views. So that's super exciting. Definitely gives us some push to keep going. I think I share that same sentiment with Chus as well. Just thank you. I didn't notice it before the last episode, and I noticed it when I was uploading the last episode. So I wanted to thank people for that. If Jonathan has nothing else to say before we leave. I will go into my spiel. I don't. Do you have anything to say?
Buy the merch.
Yeah.
I don't even need to do
Buy
the
the
spiel.
merch. Buy the merch. No, honestly, do you know? How well do you know the spiel, Alvarado?
I don't know the spiel, but I heard a fan favorite is the Chus is toxic gear, so get that
Chus
one.
is toxic.
Yeah, I have my moments.
I think I need to make a go figure shirt too.
Go
'Cause
figure.
You say go figure a lot too.
Yeah,
I
go
don't know if you-
figure.
But
I mean,
anyway,
there's a lot of things that I say a lot. If you go back and listen, there's probably like some phrases and things that I say a lot.
Get a shirt out there that says the rookie.
maybe we'll see. We'll see.
see.
Thank you for listening to today's show. If you enjoyed, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We can be found anywhere you listen to podcasts and on YouTube at No Buts Show. Our social media pages are NoButs_show on Instagram and NoButsShow on TikTok. My Twitter is Josh_Butts_2001.
I have something to say.
Oh, Chus has something to say. What do we got? Do we have break?
Christian Watson has been rolled out for Sunday's game for the Packers, and I have to change him in fantasy. That's why I just mentioned that. So
Breaking news!
Christian Watson, right before we go off the air, has been rolled out with an injury that looks like it is he's dealing with a health concern. It doesn't say what. Oh, it looks like a hamstring. It'll be week-to-week thing, but it's just dealing with a health concern. Okay, yes, that's all I have to say. I got to go make a fantasy move for my team. So that's all I got to say. Go back to your spiel.
Okay. So my Twitter is Josh_Butts_2001. And if you would like to reach us, you can email us at bullmoosepodcast2. It's the number 2 at gmail.com. Finally, our spread shop will be in the description. And as you heard Alvarado say, buy the merch. It helps us out. Once again, if you enjoyed today's show, like, comment, and subscribe. That also helps us out. So until next time, go do something nice for someone. There we go.